Hi, trending topics. Here is the video of how to do directions for U7-L3. All right, so step one for this assignment, you're going to choose 5 news stories that you think are the 5 most important stories of the year 2025. These 5 news stories must be from between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2025. The news stories can be world news stories, national news stories, or even local news stories. Try to get your news stories that are not from extremely left or right news sources. I suggest again looking at this document if for news sources. Um, we did a lot with that with the all side stuff. So I'm sure you all are familiar with that by now. Step two, you're going to open up the U7L3 top 5 news stories of 2025 slideshow. On the slideshow, you'll see that I've already laid out the slides for you. You're going to open up the speaker notes on each of the slides to see what the requirements are for each of the slides. Fill out the slides with the news stories you have chosen. So let's take a look at that right now. So here is the slideshow that you're going to have for U7L3 top 5 news stories of 2025. On the first slide here, you're going to put your name on the first slide. I know, super tricky. All right, so for news story number 1, you're going to put the title of your news story. And then for slide number 3, you're going to do background information. So you're going to do a link to the news story, the news source, what the news story was, when the news story was published, the reporter of the news story, and where this news story took place. Slide number 4, you're going to do the summary. Okay, so this is where speaker notes are going to come and help. So what you need to do is on this little gray bar below, you're going to drag it upwards. That is going to tell you what you need for your slides. Okay, so for slide number 4, you're going to include the following information, 4 to 6 sentences or bullet points summarizing the news story in your own words. Make sure it is in your own words. If it is not in your own words, you get a 0. Then you also need a picture relating to your news story. Okay, same thing with impact. Slide open those speaker notes. You are going to answer this question, why do you think this news story is the most important news story of 2025? And then answer only one of the following questions. How might this news story affect the world? How might this news story affect the US? Who is the target audience of this news story and why? And what biases are in this news story? And then include a picture. Slide number 6, you're going to include the following information. Why is the news story newsworthy? If you need help, look back from the slideshow from Unit 1. You're going to include your answer in 2 to 3 sentences or bullet points and a picture relating to your news story. Now, when I taught this last year, this is where most students lost points. Okay, so I am asking you, why is this news story newsworthy? You need to go back and look at the slideshow from Unit 1, the 7 pillars of newsworthiness. You need to choose one of those pillars that fit your news story. A lot of students, and when I mean a lot, I bet over half of the students from last year did not do that. Okay, so I'm warning you now. Make sure you go back to the slideshow and look at the 7 pillars in newsworthiness. Okay, then you are going to do the same process for news story number 2. As you can see here, same stuff. Same thing with news story number 3 and 4, and finally, number 5. All right, so once you have completed step 2 by filling out all the slides, proofread your slideshow to make sure that you answered all the questions in the speaker notes, and for any grammar mistakes, once you're done, you're going to submit it to Schoology. Miss Corey's tips. This assignment is worth 90 formative points. Even though it is not a summative assignment, 90 formative points can still make or break your grade. To put it into perspective, the Edpuzzle videos you watch and weekly rundowns are typically only worth 5 formative points. This is 90. Would you rather do this assignment in Canva than using the slideshow template I made you? Just email me to let me know that you're doing that. If you need help finding news articles, let me know too. I'm here to help you. It's literally my job. And then make sure all the wording of your answers on your slideshow are completely in your own words, because any use of AI or plagiarism will be an automatic 0 for the entire assignment. Yeah, that's right, the entire assignment. So don't do it. Okay? Here's a link to the rubric. Here's also a link to an example that I did. Now, I did mine in the year past, so I did mine in 2023. If you have questions, let me know as soon as possible. This will be due January 11th, 2026 at midnight. That's right. I am giving you 2 school weeks to do this as well as winter break. Please also note that Sunday, January 11th is the last day to submit late/missing work. Anything not turned in will become a permanent 0. All right, so let's pause here for a second. Let me ask you a question. When is the U7-L3 top 5 news stories of 2025 due? Hopefully you said January 11th, 2026 at midnight. All right, then I'll ask you another question. When are any late or missing work due? That's right. It is also Sunday, January 11th, 2026 at midnight. Okay, remember, anything that's turned in after that will not be graded. I will just put it in as a 0. So make sure you get your work done. I am giving you a ton of time to get this done. So no excuses, no exceptions. All right. Also to note, this is the last assignment of the semester. There's not a final summative that covers the semester, so thank you for participating and being in trending topics with me. Next week, you just need to fill out the optional end of the semester survey to let me know what I can do better for the class for next semester. And that is it. All right. Thanks for being in trending topics. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.